O sea, ahora mismo
todos
voy escribiendo, pensáis que estáis
solos,
solos,
¿no? Por lo que veo, ¿o no? No, perdón.
Eso es, Pedro, yo creo que solo lo ven los panelistas. Si tú no estás viéndolo, pues que eres el rol de espectador. Un momentito, ahora vengo, un momentito.
Ok. Perdón, es que estaba leyendo un mail y he contestado como muy en voz alta, perdón. Hablo ya solo.
Porque no tiene vídeo, Adri.
Porque yo no presento ahora, o sea, yo no hablo ni qué, entonces estoy en modo espectador, pero me había quitado el mute.
Vale. Le he dicho a Irene que cierre y abra Zoom porque no se la veían ni se la escuchaba. Vale, vamos a ver. Vamos a ver si ahora se la oye y se la ve. Le acabo de ascender a panelista, que ha entrado como GR.
¿Me oís?
Sí.
Bien, pero no me va la cámara, no sé por qué. Bueno, también tengo que decir que mi cámara a veces no funciona, ¿eh? Decide que no se pone y no se pone.
Tienes que poner iniciar vídeo abajo. ¿Te sale?
Ya,
Sí, lo tiene.
Pero que me pasa con Hangouts y todo, que hay veces que me detecta la cámara y veces que no.
Te diría de reiniciar, pero a lo mejor es tarde ya para reiniciar el equipo, ¿no?
Bueno, yo creo que no pasa nada si nadie me ve la cara. O sea, estoy en pijama, o sea que...
Hay
Vale.
el café, todo.
Sí.
María, Irina, Patri, Irene y Paula. Ya estamos todas.
Vale.
Irina, te quiero.
Nervios.
Y si estamos listos podemos empezar, ¿no?
Así, no sé si falta...
We can start whenever you want.
Pero, ¿tú vas a hacer, entiendo, una introducción o...?
Pues no tenía
Vale.
pero la puedo hacer. Welcome to our first Rebel Fridays again, COVID edition. This time, 5 teams are going to speak about this whole crisis, how we have experienced it in a way, and how our clients doing right now, and also our learnings for this time. So first team is going to be IKEA. So a big round of applause for them.
Wait. I think it's the first. Okay. Yeah. Wait.
Arriba, María. Reproducir.
Okay. First of all, hi everybody. Good morning, survivors. I hope you're well in our second week inside our home. So we want to talk about IKEA case with Corona and how Rebel has supported the brand to manage their communication in these critical moments, real hard moments. Mm-hmm. So first of all, it was China. IKEA closed their stores there in January. Then Italy did the same, but in February. And in March was Spain's turn. And this is our communication on 15th of March, on Sunday. So, first of all, on the 11th of March, IKEA told us, because we want to back to the beginnings, we had to stop all of our messages and design another one to talk about useful products to work at home. Maybe imagine a chair to set your workspace, a lamp, and a table where you can work as if you were in your office, etc. In this moment, our client just thought about sales and traffic. Indeed, they increased their investment on social media to boost online shopping during the first weekend of the crisis. So we think that they were crazy. This day, on 11th of March, IKEA asked for 2 different plans. In the morning, one focused on products and sales, but in the midday, when they realized what the people need in those moments, they asked for brand communication. No sales, no numbers, just hope, entertainment, or support messages. Our team did that in less than 24 hours. I want to repeat that, in less than 24 hours. And we have to compete it with another agency called McCann, do you know? We designed a digital campaign focused on emotional communication and people feelings, idea, concept, content lines, guidelines, context. We prepared in less than 24 hours a crisis proposal, and IKEA couldn't believe it. After that, the true crisis starts because the client was very anxious, nervous, like a crazy people. They didn't know what we want to do. So this is a problem for us. After that, we advise our client during 4 entire days that they should close the stores, communicate their position as a company, doing local social actions, among other things. We had to fight, and this is for me it was very strong or difficult to realize that IKEA having troubles. We have to fight with 2 areas with that had a totally different vision about the situation. On the one hand, it was marketing, and on the other hand, it was corporate, and there was no communication between them. It depends the client. We receive a totally different instruction, and we receive many applications during these days. We activate social noise with a daily report. Adrian knows very well. We supported the customer care center, managing comments, direct messages, solving problems with the clients. Like if we are their team, we produce in 2 days the content for 1 week. And after all, we survive because look at this, we are here. So I want to say that we did all these incredible things because many people help us, like Domino's team with their documents and their experience, creative team with hours and hours of production, extra hours. So I want just say thank you, Rebels, for.
¡Bravo!
No me deja pasar ahora, perdón, es que tenía que saltar el vídeo, perdón.
María, actívate el vídeo que no se te ve.
Perdón. This is the emotional communication.
Yo soy tu hogar y voy a estar para ti, aguantando todo lo que venga.
But this is not our communication. So, but I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so how did we manage to land all of these into social media? I picture these last 2 weeks as if they were like a video game, because they basically have like different rounds, and once we successfully manage to win each round, we have to immediately face the next one. So it's been a pretty exhausting journey. It's been very stressful, especially for the content team. And I just want to say a huge thank you for all of you, because I'm super proud of our work, to be honest. And cheesy things apart, the first round is basically what Maria just explained. We managed to kind of convince them about that launching a commercial campaign right now didn't make any sense. They were about to launch a huge commercial campaign about sleeping, in which they worked for like 4 months. They put a lot of money and resources on it, but it just didn't make sense anymore, at least for now. So we won that round. We started working on an emotional campaign, and then we had to face the second round, which was creating that proposal, as Maria said, in less than 24 hours. In that proposal, we had to include not only what we were going to communicate, but do it in a very specific way, including visuals, including examples of each content line, and also knowing that some other agencies like Macan was working on their own, so no pressure, good devils. And we did it, to be honest. I still can't believe how we did it, but we did it. And we handed in, they loved it, and they took our proposal. And that meant that the next day we could not rest, and we had to produce all that content in less than 2 days. So here, Irina and Irene have been working hand by hand, and pretty hard, to be honest. And also we thankfully had some support from Maria Jose, so thanks to her as well. And I'm not going to stop by in this part because Irina's going to explain it way better than me a little bit after. But I do want to say that along this way, we had to face some little obstacles that made it even more difficult, to be honest. In Spanish, we say piedras en el camino, so I just place it like that. Maria, that's it. Those are all the little obstacles we had to face along these 2 weeks. The first one is that IKEA's situation at the moment, it's pretty delicate. Like the whole team changed in January, and the social media department doesn't exist anymore. So we're working with a new different client with different objectives, and we don't know each other very well, to be honest. And also what they're living internally, it's kind of a Game of Thrones chapter constantly. So you can imagine how fun that is for us every single day. That also leads us to the fact that sometimes we feel like they have a different perspective to what we do, to the one we have, sorry, especially because, for example, like we thought that they assumed that we were focusing in an emotional campaign, and then that randomly, like the marketing manager said that still their main objective with social media at this moment was to sell. That was like 3 days ago. We were already producing everything. So that was a little bit like, it didn't make any sense for us. And also it wasn't possible, to be honest, when we were creating an emotional campaign from scratch. So this has been pretty tough, but I think still we managed to reconduct that perspective and align it a little bit. Also, we had already said that, but we were working with a very tough deadline. We didn't have much time. We had limited resources. So high five for the whole team, because it's been exhausting, but I don't know, everything paid off. And finally, I just wanted to remark that we were working with a new client. And that means that we didn't really know each other that well. And that these 2 weeks have been complicated. I think Maria and I became their therapist. I don't lie if I say that he calls me like 15 times a day. But
like my father told.
Yeah, basically. But also I think this allowed us to build our relationship from 0 to 10 in just 2 weeks. And in the end, I think at the moment they truly trust us, and they're still defending our work internally. And that's what just Maria said, that, or Irina, no sé, sorry, I don't know who said it this morning, but basically we got a message from them saying that, because today we're launching one of the cutest content. Irina is going to explain it a little bit afterwards. But basically, we got a message this morning from the whole team just saying that they were very thankful and that everyone was in love with it. So we're very happy.
You want to pass the Yes.
Okay, so with everything coordinated, it's time to get down to business, and there's no creativity without organization. So there have been two key points on this part. First of all, an organized and clear calendar that can be validated with the client easily. And also teamwork, and teamwork, as Maria and Patricia says. So since Irene needs time to make the story, which she will tell you about later, we organized ourselves so that she could start all the formats and make templates that I could edit in After Effects lately. Alan will be very proud of me and what I've learned these days. And what pieces have we been working on these days? As well introduced Patri, we created two ways of content: help and entertain. For the helping sections, we thought of different forms to, as experts or in home life, be close to our community these days. So we created three sections. The first was tips from how to set up your home office to plans for family life. We also created reminders on Instagram using the countdown format, such as coffee break, lunchtime, or go club to the medical. And also we created a kind of WhatsApp parents group to share advice and tips with each other. And for the entertaining part, we thought about the protagonists of these days at home of many families, which are the little ones. So for them, we created everything from downloads for making crafts and games to a series of video storytelling that Irene is illustrating with all her love. And for all the contents, we take great care with the tone and language used on it due to the crisis situation in the country. And since it's very important to empathize with the community and not to use expressions that may hurt sensibilities. So it's a mix of the usual IKEA tone and responsibility.
Okay, so what I don't know if you're hearing me because I had some troubles with the internet. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about the style that we created for this campaign. The goal here was to create a style that could be easily made because we were really short on time. We needed also to create a versatile style that could fit all the different kind of contents that we created for the IKEA Madness and all the different kind of public that we were going to communicate for. So what we did was to create some illustrations that could be friendly for the adults and nice for the kids. And we did it with simple lines for the illustrations and lots of textures for the collage lookalike. As you can see, these all are like the main images for the different kinds of content that we created. So to be able to create all of these different kind of contents of all of this amount of content in such a short time, what we created was a lot of templates, so I could have the help from the creative team and also Irina, which is helping me a lot, okay? So by the other hand, we had this crazy idea to create some tales for the kids. And this is the opposite, the contrary opposite of fast. We had to create like 20 illustrations in like 2 days or something like that. We then had to animate it and make it work with the audio, with everything. And it was crazy, honestly, but it was really cute. We also had these kids, these other kids like recommending the tales. You heard it through Slack, I think. And it was really cute. And what I say is that at least we made it work with, not because of this style, of course, but because of the work of the whole team. Actually, this tale is going to be published today. I think it's already published.
Yeah, it's already published. You can go to our profile. Look. María, dale, que el siguiente.
Yeah, only they're all animated. Only the first one, you're only going to see the first one, but if you follow us in social media, you will be able to see all the animated images.
Mi duende favorito es el de Reals, porque va de los animales, que a mí me gusta mucho, y sobre todo ardilla.
Patricia face is what good.
El rey Alce estaba bebiendo agua en la orilla del lago. Estaba triste porque sabía que debía convertirse en rey, pero no
This is a 5-minute tale. Okay, so it's a lot of work. We have 2 more coming up. So.
Pero el alce le respondió que debería
Stay
encontrar
down.
una mejor forma, ya que él no era constructor. Al alejarse, el alce golpeó con sus astas unas ramas secas de un pino. El cuervo le sirvieron para comenzar la labor con su nuevo nido. El alce no lo vio, pero un erizo sí. Algo más tarde, se cruzó con una liebre. La liebre se dio cuenta de la preocupación del alce y le preguntó la razón. Pero el alce, en vez de responder, le preguntó: ¿qué tengo de especial? La liebre le animó.
Kevin says he's going to watch them all with
Y le pedía ayuda. Y era
This
tarde,
is the idea.
y no sabía cómo iba a rodear todo el lago para regresar a su
vas a spoilear todo el cuento.
El alce.
Sorry. And now, Paula, where are you?
Oh, as you know, the project has 2 areas, marketing and corporate. Corporate includes all topics about people and planet positive, workers, best place to work, basically the company's corporate communication. We found that while marketing was working on a strategy, fully aware of what that was involved in such a crisis, we found that corporate was living like in a parallel reality. The IKEA focus was only on marketing in a crisis where people had a leading role. In fact, they keep asking us for a calendar of contents for April and May on sustainability and people. Something proposed before the crisis, so not a lot of sense. When we become aware of the situations and the difference between the 2 areas, we try to help and work on corporate like in a different project than marketing. For March, we already had content prepared for social media. We work content about equality, salaries or equal opportunities based on IKEA workers. Obviously, at the moment we knew about the closing of the stores and the possibility of an ERTE, I don't know how to say in English, like the staffing cuts. We decided to paralyze all these contents and the production of the following months. On the other hand, we started to work in a Q&A for customer care. And it was a little crazy because we had 1 or 2 statements per day. The information was changed a lot. So we have to be very coordinated with all the teams, IKEA, Good Rebels, and our freelance. We are lucky to have Eva Cifuentes. She is the person in charge of customer care for marketing and corporate. And she is helping us doing things she usually doesn't have to. For example, IKEA has an internal group of people who deal with incidents, complaints, information about the shipments, and with the increase of the messages of all these days, they were stuck. So Eva helped them to respond and organize all the questions. Nowadays she's much more involved in the day-to-day of the project. With customer care, we are being very careful. The relational activity is almost stopped, and most of the answers are validated first with client. So this forces us to make communication more constant and fluid in both ways. We continue sending daily reports and searching for news. But right now we are waiting for news from IKEA. We know that IKEA is making some actions and donating materials to hospitals, but we don't have enough information and we can't communicate anything about this yet. This is a decision that comes from the company. They don't have the main strategy yet. We don't know if they will. So we need to wait and see what happens next. And I suppose that once we know it, we can make a plan of actions for the next months. And that's all, guys. I would like you to tell more things or learnings about the corporate strategy, but it's too early for it. So thank you, and maybe next time.
Bravas.
That's all I want to.
Is there any question? Maybe I didn't see that.
I have to stop this first. That's all.
If you guys have any questions referring to IKEA specifically, you can go ahead and ask them, or wait till the end, whatever you guys want. If not, next team is up. Sí, vale.
Entiendo que nos quitan.
Sí.
Sí, ya estoy yo. Tiene yo.
Hola.
Bravo, chicas.
Me encanta el mensaje de Salva. Y yo sin hijos, qué buen contenido.
Vale, ya está Marina.
Vale, voy a compartir.
Falta Pablo, ¿no?
Voy buscando a Pablo, sí, estoy buscando a Pablo.
Sí. ¿Ahora lo veis?
Sí, se ve.
O sea, se ve el lleno, ¿no? El que está.
Se ve completo. Se ve completo y se ve a Pablo ya. Ya está,
Vale.
chicos. Pablo, vas a iniciar el audio.
Well, hey guys, how are things going in the time of coronavirus times? So basically, we're just going to present how Toyota dealt with fighting against the virus. We're still doing so, but yeah, this is how we approach it. So what we think it was slightly different with Toyota rather than other projects. Maybe with IKEA it happened similarly, but it was that Toyota from a very early stage, they want us to get a report and trying to understand what the decision was. Like I'm talking like very beginning of February, they wanted to understand how this impacted on social media and their business as well. So we started getting some data, and if it's really difficult today to get a forecast for what's going to happen, you cannot even imagine how hard it was 3 weeks ago. So basically, we started getting data from other countries that they were in an earlier stage of the crisis. So that's the case for China, for Korea, and Italy. We're getting their data. We started understanding how the consumer was behaving and how it was changing. And we got some information from that, but basically the most important thing that we understood was that we were in the times that everything is fluid, everything is changing because of uncertainty. So instead of being scared of that and that being something that stopped us from doing things, we just took it as the base of being our decision making. So we created the adaptive decision making toolkit, and everything in the strategy that we'll be explaining to you and that Pablo will develop. It was based on this idea of adapting ourselves to new consumer behavior patterns. So basically what we did a report on what were the implications for social media. We did a benchmark on what other brands and competitors were doing. And then it's really easy to say that we're adapting to ourselves to decision-making and being fluid. It's really easy, but then in order to do so and make decisions, you actually have to take out all the things that stop you from being able to make those. We'll go further into it later on so you can understand better. So then, and as well, just keeping updated with all the consumer behavior trends were. So we took all this information, and this is something that we're updating the client the entire time. So that way we can all make decisions, and it has become a philosophy for the project, and that's why I think it has been quite successful. But yeah, I'm just gonna explain a little bit further. So first thing we did was just understanding what other competitors were doing. Something that we did and that Ford did as well was that from the very beginning of the crisis, we decided to just not communicate product at all. We disabled all communications around new launches, car offers, and test drives. We've seen that other brands have done it later on, but as you can see, most of the brands have not even reacted to it. We were really surprised that, for instance, BMW still has ads asking people to go to the dealerships, to go to concessionarios, and getting people their oil changed in the car, which doesn't make any sense at all. We were also very surprised that SEAT, that has a very strong relationship with Spain, they didn't do any initiative towards the coronavirus crisis. Maybe something really big is gonna come, but we were really surprised that there was nothing there. So if we stopped focusing on product, what we did was we shifted the entire strategy, and we put all of our effort in engaging posts, and then as well initiatives that were around the entire coronavirus crisis, as in like talking to people, saying thank you. Then as well, there's I give my car, so like yo cedo mi coche. So like Toyota has donated, not donated, but it's like shared their car share. So people from the medical industry can use their cars for going to work and for helping in the crisis. So before I was saying that, yeah, it's very beautiful to say that we're in a fluid decision-making point, but we had to understand what are the pain points for us in order to do so. And one of the main points was that dealerships were making their own decisions. There were some dealerships that were saying like, yeah, we're closing down. There are other dealerships that they were still doing advertisements about products. And then we started understanding, not only through social listening, but also like, and this is where Maka did an amazing job. Maka is doing customer relationship, and she's updating every day on what's going on with the brand to the client. There's an update every day, and this has been really important. So we found out as well from CR that people were like, can you just close the dealerships? And then just as soon as we found out about these, there was a very quick decision from making a press release that affected the entire organization about saying what the position of Toyota would be towards these. And it has been really interesting because we've updated ourselves a lot with what consumer behavior was around the crisis, how people appreciated their own personal finances against how it's going to affect national economy. And having all this information was really interesting because Toyota realized that how this is going to bring really important implications to them, as in like they estimated a 30% drop in sales for the following months. But then as well, they started understanding that now people, the way that they engage with brands is in a digital way. So they're coordinating through the web department a completely online product experience. So you can configure your car as you want, completely online. You can get the whole experience of seeing the car and getting the offer and everything completely online. So then they're adapting their strategy to be completely digital, so people from home can actually access to them. So we took the whole strategy, taking all this information and implications, and we developed a content strategy that Pablo is going to go further into it. And once we've developed it, has been really interesting because numbers have been astonishing. They've been amazing. Something really interesting with social listening was that it's true that Toyota hasn't been really affected by coronavirus in the conversation, because besides production, it's not really affected. It's not as like a travel agency or maybe like supermarkets. So the only the conversation before was like further smaller, and it was because of external acts or things, as in like the Salon de Ginebra got cancelled. But now that we've taken on the strategy, you can see how the conversation has gone up, because we started leading up the conversation, and the conversation is now being positive because it's all around the social initiatives that we've been spreading and we've been talking about. And this has been super interesting for the project to understand and to see. We're quite proud of that, for the entire team, for doing such an amazing job and getting like those good results. And then this has transferred to being on the top ranking of social actions in Facebook for the couple 2 weeks. We're number 1, number 3, and number 4 in engagement. And then as well, we've reached, this is interesting because there was this market research report on the social media presence in the sector. And it's good because they're comparing the sector and the brands with the conversation with coronavirus. And for one day, people were talking more about Toyota than they were about coronavirus. Would you imagine that? That in real life, people would be talking more about something than coronavirus? So yeah, we started realizing that the strategy is actually working really well, and we're being a reference in the entire sector. And now you're going to be able to understand why all that Pablo is going to explain to you.
Okay, so now to understand the situation with this content strategy, we received a special message from Toyota. They told us we can't make any communication anymore about our cars during this crisis. So, considering this issue, we start thinking. Next, Marina, please. We start thinking, and we designed a new strategy frame in which we could work to make all our content and communication. So here you have a small example of the frame. The objective is very clear: is the time to help and inspire people. But how are we going to do it? No, we are going to do it by working on 3 main pillars. First of all, we have the interactive or entertaining pillar. Then we have the aspirational, and we have also os he perdido. ¿Me escucháis?
Sí.
Sí, ¿se te escucha, Pablo?
Ahora, okay. And then we have a brand with purpose. It's our third pillar. So we are going to go to these points.
Oui, espera, ahí.
First of all, we're going to start with the aspirational line of content. In this case, we decided to make a connection with cinema to engage users. This is a good way also to show our iconic models and those vintage that we now sell in Spain to entertain at home. This is a way we have to show cars to our fans. If our fan don't see cars in our posts, he skipped Toyota. No? So this is the best way we found. Also, in the next engage part, we are still pushing our main communication line in 2020. It's about people and also about freedom of movement and future, no? And then, as a brand with purpose, Toyota also decided to make fans aware to stay at home and also be responsible. And in this case, you can see a thanks to video we did to all of people involved in fighting against coronavirus, and especially for Toyota employees which are working to repair official vehicles in these days. No? So also Toyota joined Yo Cedo Mi Coche. This is a Hyundai campaign initiative, maybe. So they are giving the corporate car fleet to doctors and all these people working in hospitals. And then to end, we have the gaming part. This is the most fun part for our fans. So we are making games with driving insights. In this case, also we give our users a space to express themselves. And in the previous example, we told our users to tell us their obsessions with driving. And the next one, in this entertainment line, also we design a challenge with our clients. It's called Toyota Pocket Challenge. And you can see the video in Toyota Instagram highlights. You can see here how to participate. And then as a bonus track, Toyota still doesn't know because it's a big surprise for them, but we have made a Instagram game. So we are going to present in a few hours, but you can try it now because we are going to send you the link via Slack, I think, or maybe chat, I don't know. And that's all. Thank you so much for your attention.
Yeah, thanks guys. Oopsie.
Estoy en ello ya, chicos.
Creo que ya he dejado de presentar.
Hi everyone.
Falta Juan.
Hola.
Ya está ahí los tres.
Vale. Un segundo porque me sale aquí. Vale. Ya.
Presentando.
Okay, can you hear me all?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So I hope you're having a great quarantine day. So we are going to talk about Domino's Pizza and how we've managed this crisis. And first of all, we wanted to talk about how this crisis has affected the whole industry. Please, Eugenia.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so as you can guess, I think that bars and restaurants is going to be the main or one of the most affected industries because of this crisis, because not only all bars and restaurants had to close down on March 12th, but I think also that this sector is going to be the last one to reopen to the public. So this sector is going to be really affected and it's going to be a really slow recovery, okay? So just so you know, all bars and restaurants have had to close down on the 12th, but the only service that they can still do is delivery service. So the only restaurants or bars that can manage to deliver some food are going to be are still are the ones that are managing to at least survive a little bit. Okay, so anyway, how this has affected Domino's Pizza? So yep, I mean, we are going to talk in a chronological order, okay? So first of all, Domino's Pizza had to close down all its restaurants. So the first reactions were really bad because the Domino's Pizza decided to keep their delivery service. So just so you know, Domino's Pizza has a lot of restaurants and a lot of them are franchises. So the communication is really slow and it's more difficult than in other sectors or brands that has less restaurants or less shops, you know. So when Domino's Pizza decided to keep their delivery service, we started to receive a lot of bad comments from people saying that it was really responsible for Domino's Pizza to be delivering that service, which is not a first need service, because we deliver pizza, so it's not a first need, you know. But not only people were criticizing what we were doing, but also our own coworkers started to write us in social media saying that they didn't want to go to work, that they couldn't stop because their bosses were not allowing them to stay at home, and they were really upset. There was a lot of misinformation because I mean everything was happening so fast that information couldn't come from the main offices to all of franchises. So it was really chaos. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, we want to highlight the main key dates that we see within this crisis. So on March 12th, we had to close down, and during those days were the days that we were receiving the first reactions with a lot of bad comments from people and coworkers. And on the March 14th, it was a Saturday, I think it was the main key day that everything changed, because that day we delivered two statements. One of them was launched at noon, and it was a statement that was talking about, I mean, it was explaining why Domino's Pizza kept their delivery service. Okay, so in that statement we were saying things like we are really focusing on our safety, co-workers. We are ensuring that the product is safe, so you can ask for your pizza and you can be and you don't have to worry about the product. But that also increased even more the comments, because people were saying that that was not true. Actually, we even registered some negative comments from our own coworkers saying that there were no more measures, that it was all the same. So we started to monitor hour by hour. We started to make calls with our client, with not only our main clients, but also the whole group, IKEA, which is the group of Domino's. And that night at 10 p.m. I think it was, called us in order to say us that Domino's Pizza had decided to stop their delivery service. Actually, Domino's Pizza was the first brand in this sector, in this industry, to stop offering this service. And I think it was a really nice move, because that was our main position during all these days. During all these days, Ultraviols were telling to Domino's Pizza that they should stop all the services because it was not safe for their coworkers, and people were saying that. And that position was adopted also from our main client, and they defended that position to their directors and to the main cúpula directiva, you know. So that day, that night, they decided to stop the service. Just a little fun fact with that: when all stores decided to close, a lot of stores decided to deliver the pizzas that were going to be thrown to the trash. They decided to send it to hospitals and police stations, and it was a really nice gesture that also affected us in social media, because all the negative mentions and sentiment that they were registering changed in just minutes, you know. So during after that, during 2 days, we were dealing with a lot of customer service and a lot of nice moments because of this fact of sending pizzas. But everything changed on the 16th, because that was the day when it was published and announced that IKEA, the main group, had decided to do an ERTE. And actually, by that time, it was the biggest ERTE in Spain, because it was going to affect 22,000 people in the whole country. Not only that changed everything, and as you can guess, a lot of monitoring, social media comments, and everything was bad. But that ERTE not only affected Domino's Pizza and their stores, but also affected our direct clients, our direct interlocutors, because if we have like 3 main interlocutors with Domino's Pizza, we have a lot of more interlocutors, but our main interlocutors are 3 of them. 2 of them were also affected by this ERTE. So the only one that kept on the team was the boss, and we became her team. Wood Rebels was the only agency that kept side by a su lado. Fuimos la única agencia que se mantuvo a su lado during those days, and we became like really close, and we were supporting her not only with the work but also emotionally and every decision and advising.
Okay. We can say that she was a little bit como alejada from us, But since that moment, she became like our best friend. She called every minute. She speak to us in personal issues like her life, her what she eats, what she is doing in her home, and it changed a lot.
And I also wanted to say that during those days we've been working like crazy. As you can guess, the 14th was the main day, as I said, because we had to release 2 statements. And just so you know, releasing 2 statements is not, or it wasn't only posting a picture in social media. We had to almost write down the whole statement. We also had to propose the creativities for social media, but also the website. We had to stop all paid media campaigns. We had to deliver a Q&A. Well, actually 2 Q&As, because we delivered 2 statements that day. We had to change the whole website twice a day, twice Q&As, and as you can guess, a lot of customer service, not only with the main public, but also with the co-workers that were not receiving the information, because as I said, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of franchises, and the information is not that fluid, you know? Anyway, our work within those days, I think we can say that the main work has been three areas. One of them was consultancy, the other one was analytics, and the third area was web and social content. The first one, consultancy. We've used this slide, but consultancy has been more like a therapist. Okay, as I said, we've become the main agency within this crisis. We've been advising them what to do, not only in terms of communications and social media, but also what they should do in terms of business. We've been advising them because they were asking, should we stop delivery service? And we were like, yes, you should. Unless you have strong or new safety methods in order to secure all your coworkers, you should stop delivery service. They were also asking things like, okay, our main directors are telling us that we should reopen the delivery, and we were like, no, you're not prepared yet. And actually, we've become their assessors, or I don't know how to say it in English. And I also wanted to say that this has affected not only Domino's Pizza, but also the whole Alsea group. We've become the main consultancy agency, also to Camille, which is the director of communication of the group VIPS and Alsea. And that's really interesting, because just a week ago, we were having a call like at 5 p.m. last Friday with them, and she was like so grateful for a job, and she was that we were good rebels, we were the best discover of this crisis. So thank to all the team. Anyway, what else we have done? Analytics. We've been monitoring every single thing that we could. Not only we have managed to monitor mentions to Domino's Pizza, but we've also monitored every competitor and also the overall delivery service. We've managed to deliver reports in less than 2 hours. For example, I remember a week ago when a client said, okay, I know it's 10 p.m., but I have a meeting with our CEO in just 2.5 hours, and I need to tell him how is the vibe in the overall delivery service and our main competitors. And the whole team started to analyze all our main competitors, what they were saying about them, and yeah, I don't know, analyzing everything. And these analytics have been up. I mean, we've been analyzing for like twice a day ever since last March 14th. And not only we have analyzed Domino's Pizza, but as I say, we have also analyzed Alsea Group, their main brands. We have analyzed Mexico, Starbucks, Vips, I mean the whole brands. So I think the whole analytics and monitoring part of this crisis has been key, and they are really grateful. And actually, in the next slides, we can see some of the communication that we had with them and their agradecimientos.
That's how we started working with them in other brands like Vips or Starbucks. Actually, Camille was telling us that she always had a problem with Vips keywords with the query, because she was a little bit blinded about how she is reading every mention in social media, and we were able to deliver her a little bit of how people is talking about Vips in social media. And in the next slide, you can see that they were very, very grateful about everything. Like in every 2 mails, she was like saying, thank you very much for your work. It is amazing. We don't know what we were doing without every one of you. And I think that it's very grateful about working with them. And that's it.
Yeah. And also content. So, Eu.
Okay, so for content, 2 weeks ago, we were proposing the trendiest meme to post on Twitter and talking about Elite's 3rd season release date. But then you all know what happened, and we went from this type of content to the other in less than 48 hours. Also, let me say a special shout out to Luis for being the intellectual author of this announcement, and Maria Jose for being available 24/7 to create the design. This was the result of the 4 of us in constant communication, not only between each other, but with the Domino's corporate team, as Adri and Juanmi were telling you before. I believe this statement was validated and posted on Saturday at around 11:30 p.m. And yes, we do realize that we misspelled the word agradecemos, even though we read it about 20 times each and 5 other people in the corporate team. But by the time we saw it, it was too late to change it, as the post already impacted more than 5,000 people. So now it's just part of the story. And we also started working in other type of content. This is a whole other line of content that we've been working. Domino's is preparing right now for the reopening of their delivery service, and our creative team has been working nonstop in their infographics, I believe you say it that way, to communicate their 0 contact delivery policy. So right now, this is what's going on. But also, we have created a content plan to keep users entertained, even though they cannot order pizza right now. As Adri has explained before, one of Domino's biggest fears right now was the social noise around the ERTE and all the negative comments from the employees. That's why we came to the conclusion that at this point, the safest plan was to post only on Instagram stories for now, to control especially the noise as much as possible and keep it private in case there was a lot of negative messages. So our first proposal is this that you can see, which is called DIY Domino's, with all these cute little stickers that Maria Jose made for us. So what we asked to the users was to recreate their favorite Domino's pizzas at home. Also, we agreed with Domino's marketing team that we would create a mini KPI report around each content so that we can know how people are reacting to our content as soon as possible. And also to give us, to ensure that we can stop, reconsider if necessary, make a modification as needed. So that's why quickness right now at this time is crucial, and also constant communication with the team too. I literally speak with these people more than I speak with my mom, and I speak with her every day. So these were the results for the first challenge. We normally have between 2 or 3 pizza giveaways in Domino's every month. So we are used to having a huge participation rate since people literally kill for free pizza. But with this challenge, the fact that people took the time and the effort to cook the pizzas and share them with us is a great success, even though we didn't have as much participation as we normally do. But we have to take in account that we weren't giving them anything in exchange. So it was great, and actually they really look like, some of them at least, really look like the original Domino's pizzas. So we really felt that sense of community that we normally think that we have with Domino's. So it was great. And yeah, now we would like to share some of our learnings in all of this process. First of all, I want to say being there, even though it may sound a little bit obvious, I feel like we've earned our clients' trust more than ever throughout this whole process by making them feel supported 24/7. And this is something that their other agencies didn't do. And this is something that Lina, which is the marketing manager and like the only survivor right now, has told us. And like, as Adri and Juanmi were saying, we communicate with her almost every day. I feel like Luis should also charge extra for psychology and therapy sessions with her. But yeah, I don't know if you guys want to add anything else.
Actually, now they are working with Arena too. That is going to be their media agency once again. But from the beginning, we told them that we were next to them, that it was the moment to be close to them and to work in Saturdays or Sundays, and it doesn't matter, you know. It was a difficult moment, not only for them, even for us, and we wanted to be close to them, to deliver them good work, to be trustful. That's it. To be trustful and to give them the very best of our support.
And actually, I also think that being empathicos,
yeah,
with them has been key, because I wanted to highlight again that our client has suffered an ERTE, and it's not easy. Yeah. I mean, I remember the first time that we spoke to Lina after receiving the news, and I could feel in her voice and her face that she was not okay. And not only because of the situation, not only because of Domino's, but also because of her team.
We have to say that she realized that they were going to make an ERTE without telling her to. You know, it was like she wrote us telling how is it possible. Nobody has told us anything, and now I have to tell my team that they aren't going to be with me working. And
it was very sad, because I feel like they spoke about the ERTE all the time, but they never thought it was going to affect also the corporate team. They thought it was going to only to affect the restaurants or the restaurants employees. So it even shocking for her. So we were there to support her, and for us, so we were there to support her like throughout the whole process.
And it is important because our main interlocutors every day is Julia and Pilar, and suddenly they weren't there with us, and it was like, wow, what we have to do now? We need to write them, or we need to tell them that we are there for everything they need.
Mm-hmm.
Elena was alone, you know.
Yeah. Also, agility, I would say it's one of the first things that we have discovered in this process. This was there hasn't been an email where we haven't responded in less than 15 minutes. Seriously, if it's not Juanmi, it's Adri, if it's not, it's me. Like, we are super fast right now, and I feel like Lina really like knows that too. Not only Lina, the whole Alsea team. And then trust, as I said, I think we've earned her trust in so many ways. And also teamwork, like special shout out to the whole team, even though most of them are not here. The creative team has been doing a great job supporting every content line that we are working on right now,
and suffering us also.
And suffering our stress, which is not easy. So clap for us, them too.
And an amazing work from the creativity team. Maria Jose has been amazing.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's our presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah. And thank you to Luis.
And thank you to Luis for his copywriting skills.
Ay.
Ay, no sé.
Adiós.
No toco nada. ¿Qué hago?
Deja de compartir y Roger también está ahí ya.
Sí, voy.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. So first of all, we want to say that we are missing Laura, which was part of this, at least at the first days. Afterwards, she needed to go with her family and have a rest. Good days these days. But yes, we have a really good challenge with Bauhaus as well, as you can imagine. Hearing all these histories from all the projects and efforts from all the teams makes like us really big right now, because Bauhaus has the same situation, as you can imagine. No? All the clothes, all the shops were going to close, but the strange thing was that we were the ones that tell us, our client, no, Merichel, which is the marketing director, that the shops were going to close. She didn't even imagine that they were going to close. She wasn't even realizing, because she was in the middle of their rebranding campaign with a lot of investment in media and many other campaigns, and they have like a very small team and very active, and they're in thousands of things at the same time. So for them to understand what was happening and what was going to happen was impossible. No, for them to imagine that they needed to stop the train was like, this is never going to happen to us. So it was a little bit team working as well, not to be able to say them, look what is happening there. We are talking to our clients in Madrid, and they're stopping, they're shopping, they're closing shops and everything. So you need to be aware that this is going to happen for us here as well. No, so we need to understand what we need to do in the first time. So this is a Homer Simpson images that show what was our client's situation, no, and how did it affect it to the team and to us right now. So from the moment that they realized what was happening and they decided to close shops and everything, a whole bunch of things happen inside the company, because all depends, and it's a very vertical company, and this was a thing that we just realized when we had all this, because everything needs to go through direction, and the marketing team wasn't reacting at the velocity and that they needed to react, no? So we were there to tell them, okay, you need to do this, you need to communicate this type of things, you need to say what is happening. If we are closing shops, we need to say that we are closing shops, no? So I will pass the stick to Roger, and he will tell us what we did right now.
Yes, as Daniela said, they start like closing all stores to the public, but with some employees inside, because they decided to continue with the service of click and collect, and you can order your stuff via their website, and then you can go to their shops and collect it. And this, of course, as you can see, this was a problem, because they start receiving really bad comments because of these decisions, no? Because people was thinking that this decision was taking in risk the health of their employees. So this was something really, really, really bad. And I think that this situation in general about COVID situation in all companies is showing which brands are really focused on people, which brands are really human-centered organizations. And Bauhaus showed that they are not the company or the people first company as they thought. In this way, Bauhaus had a big problem, because they were preparing the launch of their new rebranding campaign. It's been some years since they didn't do a campaign like this, and finally they had the chance and the opportunity to launch this campaign, focus on people and focusing people, under the slogan of "Well done, bien hecho aquí." This campaign has everything that they were preparing for months had to be stopped because of this situation. They start launching some stuff some weeks ago, but now they don't want to communicate anything related to this "Well done" slogan, because they want to use it and take an advantage of it in the future. So now they are replanning their campaigns, their future campaigns, and as Daniela said, they weren't, and they didn't know how to manage the situations. They didn't know what to do, and as we were saying, these human-centered organizations now, or they are like putting in the middle all this company stuff in order to and sell. So they have to manage the situations in order to think, okay, what's more important, my relevance or my reputation, or in the future that maybe I could sell more if I do things well, or in the other hand, like if we have to stop or do anything and continue with running our business as we did before.
Yes, but they were very hard to understand. We were like telling them, no, it's really important now to put the people in the center, and it's really important now that you have empathy with the people out there that are having so much problems and everything. But they didn't understand finally what they needed to do, no? So we were there just to accompany there moment by moment, and to be able to explain them how they needed to react. No, it's click and collect, okay, but if they don't need to go outside, and they were just telling us, no, but some of the things that we sell, they are primary necessity, no, primary needs, but we were telling, yes, but this is not like really primary needs. Well, okay, it's not by the law, it's like that, okay, and we will like to keep the click and collect thing, because this affects directly to our shops, because our e-commerce is not it's not like our first shop to be that we want to support right now. So it was a complete chaos between them and us, trying to make them understand where they needed to put the direction on, no?
Yeah, and the main problem, I think, that maybe marketing department was aligned with us and our decisions, but the executive committee finally they are only seeing numbers and stuff. So they weren't as aligned as us, maybe because they are from another generation, they work in other companies, but they are focusing results. And in this case, I think that only the best brands that are focused on reputation and doing things well and responding and answering to people questions will like survive in the future, because when all this situation pass away, everybody will start going outside, will start buying again, and maybe Bauhaus or other companies won't be in the top of mind of these people reason because they weren't reacting as people or society was telling to them, no? So as Daniela said, as Bauhaus wasn't reacting to this situation, we start preparing some stuff in order to be prepared for these situations. So we start like preparing social media content proposal for all these weeks. We change everything. We stop this well done slogan campaign in order to focus in a new activation plan. We start a full social listening with sending them a daily report. As in Domino said, Adri, like we started the same weekend, like working and analyzing everything in Brandwatch or in our social media platforms in order to send them a daily report on how people was reacting to these situations and what Bauhaus gonna do. In this case, another mistake I think Bauhaus did was to communicate it really late. So like everybody will start closing the stores and closing release all their stuff like the week before the confinamiento. And Bauhaus didn't want to do this. So they start like opening, they continue as in with their normal business, and finally they decided to close the stores on Monday. So we received during this weekend lots of messages from people saying, okay, close your store now, everybody's doing this, why don't you do that, why you don't do that? So well, and finally when they decided on Monday to close all the stores, we prepared this communication to deal with these store closures. We helped them in the developing of this communication because they wanted us to write it down, to share it with our community. We also informed them about the possibility to donate medical equipment. Some people was telling us that we can deliver or do something in this situation by giving some medical equipment to hospitals. Now we are continue to dealing with Bauhaus in order to achieve this objective that they can send some stuff to these hospitals and medical equipment because they have the materials and they can do that. But they are trying to convince the executive committee in order to do that. So it's been something really chaotic. We also have been working on an inspirational campaign. Now we're not focused on sell as other brands. So we are trying to do our best in these inspirational campaigns or showing some workshops to our community in order that they can follow at their homes with their product, with their kids, with their family. And now we are like prepared and we're finishing and planning the opening campaign. Like they want to communicate it when they can, so they want to have it well done right now in order to activate it when it all happens. So now we're working on this kind of stuff. Another things that we are doing right now is working in this inspirational campaign. As I said, like this concept is developed by the branding agency that they had in this way. The concept, hoy más que nunca, cuando cuidas de tu hogar, cuidas de ti mismo. It's a real. I think that it's a campaign that we can take advantage of it. In English, it would be like people that are doing, or the people who are taking care of their home, they are taking care of yourself. So it would be something like this. And on the other hand, we're working in the DIY festival. We are like finishing a partnership with some influencers in order to make a direct takeover of Bauhaus account in order to show different workshops to do at home with products that you have at home. So continuing with this human-centered part and how do we want to communicate, okay? And at the end, so this is the best part of it. So all this work that we have been doing during these 4 weeks, it's part of our team, and without them we couldn't do that. So it's time to prepare a big applause for the team. This is made with Daniela, Laura, Humberto, Maria. With all of them, they have been working a lot, really quick, and I think that this is the best part. So we can manage situations of this kind a lot. We can be really quick, and we can have a really quick response to our clients during the weekend, during everything. So we don't have problem. And we're showing them that we are their best. We are their best partnership. We are talking to them like continuously every day via WhatsApp, via calls, because now it's a crisis moment. So they have this feeling that we are helping them in solving these problems, and this is really, really nice.
And even Merichel, she's asking for anything that she needs to decide. She's asking us first. Should I do this? The team or the director is telling me that I should do this. Do you think it's okay? So this is a good sign for us as well. Know that we have win their trust again. So it's good for the brand and for us for Good Rebels.
Yes, we're part of the marketing department team, and I think that they are that this makes us in a good position in order to make some other stuff in the future. And learnings of this situation. So first of all, that Bauhaus should have to act, not to react. So as we said, they reacted to the situation by closing doors of all their stores when everybody was closing doors 1 week before. So we have to think about that. And this is a question of business interest before reputation. So maybe it's a mix and match, and maybe everything has a moment. But now, more than before, I think it's time for reputation and all the business and all things that all the money that people is not wasting right now, they will buy a lot of stuff when everything comes to normality. And this disconnection between executive committee and reality. So finally, they are an old school company, a Germany company, and they are thinking about numbers before our reputation or people or society. And this is how they think about it. And finally, the best part of it, as we said, we are really a good team, and we can manage all kind of crises in a really short time, as we showed them. So this is a really, really good job, I think, and we have to be proud of it and continue working and pushing in order to make Bauhaus great again. Thank you.
Iván, ya estás. Patricia.
Hola, otra vez.
Sorry.
Iván?
Sorry, I was talking and I was muted and I don't know.
You're not even presenting.
No, I know. Empezamos ya, ¿no?
Sí, Iván.
Wait.
Adelante.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So, hello everybody. First of all, I want to say that I'm going to explain things kind of quickly, because at 11:30 we have a call with DIA. I'm excited to listen Javi and Sarah in the Centennials School. So I'm going to explain a little bit quickly. Well, first of all, it's important to talk about the context, okay? Because before COVID came to our lives, the situation was so complicated because, as you may know, we are finishing our relationship with DIA actually 31st of March is our last day with them. So the situation was so complicated. I'm going to explain you how complicated it is, talking about 3 points. The first of all, who are they? Well, they are new team, like between 6 and 8 months ago. The whole team, except the e-commerce part, changed it, and all of our interlocutors changed it and was new. What that means? Well, means that we are talking with people that we don't even know. We are talking with people that maybe doesn't know what are we doing or why are we doing things like that. And all of them have had a lot of questions to understand why are we doing things like that. Also implies new task. Why? Because, well, as I said, we have to explain them all the things that we are doing apart from the usual work. So we have like the double of work. No? You have to do the editorial plans. We have to do analytics. We have to do paid media, but also you have to explain the new team why are you doing things like this, and why aren't you trying another ways to do the things. But also we know our interlocutors have had new bosses, and that's so dangerous. First of all, because we didn't know them, so we didn't know which people is supervising our job. And on the other side, we don't know what they want. I mean, historically, DIA's bosses hadn't have a lot of marketing knowledge, which implies that they are always trying to do things in social media, which it doesn't align with the strategy that we have presented. So that new bosses, plus that they are from Polonia, Russia, and all of that places, they want to implant or to put new strategies in Spain that maybe it doesn't work. So it was kind of complicated to face off that situation. In the second part, where are we? Well, we know that we have, as I said, we know that we have a scheduled end date. So we know when we are going to finish our relationship. And as you can imagine, in a motivation way, that's not so good for us, because even we are trying to be motivated and to do things like the first day, it's not as easy. It's not that easy, because we know that the situation is so complicated, and we know when are we going to finish. So the motivation point it's not so easy for us. Then we have trainings taking place. Actually, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I don't remember, we have finished the last training, and that implies more work for the team, for all the team, because we have to explain we have to explain to our interlocutors all the things that we are doing to trespass that knowledge to them. So we have to do that. We have to do the usual work, and we have to explain or to answer all the questions that they were doing to us during the daily. And then we have to setting up organization measures, because as you are going to see later, organization from our side is so important to, first of all, to stop parar los pies, to stop the feet from the client, and to say, or trying to understand them, trying them to understand why are we doing things like that, and then trying them to see how much work do we have, because at some points they weren't aware or conscious about how much work are we doing. And then what are they looking for? Well, obviously what they need is help in social media tasks, because all the DIA's team didn't have experience in social media and didn't have enough knowledge. That's because I said in the second point, fast knowledge to survive, and they need to be able to afford the situation when we are not there. So we need we need to trespass all that knowledge to them to be able to do all things that we are doing right now. Well, in that context, how has the retail sector been affected by the retail sector, been affected by COVID-19? Well, for DIA is kind of different, and seeing all the projects that you have presented before, it's absolutely different, because the situation for DIA is absolutely good. They are selling more than ever. Customers are demanding a lot from them. Your shops are among the most visited in the country. So, well, seeing that points, you can imagine that in a first, well, what DIA thinks is that they are in a pretty good situation to afford all of that situation and more. If we think that a couple of months ago, DIA went through a very bad situation, very bad economic situation, and they are in a really bad crisis. So that moment is perfect to solve that economic situation and give DIA another chance to go and to compete with the other competitors that are day by day are stronger than ever, like Carrefour or Mercadona, even Aldi. But if we only see that points, I think that we will be assuming or making a mistake, because these 3 points, these 3 bullet points are talking about the present. But what would happen in the future if DIA only focus on these 3 points? Well, very bad things. What we have to do is look or think in a medium long term, and to think about how can DIA improve the brand love index, how can DIA align more than 3,000 shops to offer really value to all the customers that are demanding due responsibility, to take care about your employees and protect them in that situation. So you have to think not only in how to sell more, but in how to take care of your employees and of your customers to improve your positioning once the situation has over, once COVID-19 has disappeared, okay? So the challenge here is absolutely gorgeous, enormous, and that's one of the most difficult things here. Why? Because as you can see in this timeline, and as Patri is going to explain later, things hadn't been as easy as we want, because well, I'm going to explain it, and Patri is going to explain it later. But here is a timeline of the successos that has been coming these days. First of all, without our knowledge, DIA has created a risk committee that didn't have any person or any people about from marketing department or from Good Rebels teams, and that risk committee decide everything about what is going to be posted on social media. But the thing is that no one from marketing or from Good Rebels teams knows that who is in this risk committee and which are their criteria to post something or not to post something. Then obviously a chaos and a lack of organization came to us, because that committee that decide what is going to be posted didn't know what is going on social media and what is going on the or what customers respond to that kind of communications. So if DIA, for example, said that all our employees have gloves to protect them in the shops, and that's not true, they didn't know that people in social media is complaining about that. Obviously, they need to know that information, and when we saw that kind of communications, we talked with our marketing, with their marketing department, with our interlocutors, and we tell them what's going on in that post. Well, days by days, we were talking with marketing department, and one day they told us that that risk committee did an analysis and see the negative sentiment of all of that post. So that analysis that they have done by their own, and the analysis that we were doing in all of the posts, responding ADC cases and all of the things, has changed their minds. And from that point, they started to considering our recommendations about what to post or what not to post, or at least the words that you can use to communicate something that you want to communicate. I'm not going to explain more things about that, because Patrick's going to explain it later. But I just want to say that that situation has been so difficult for us, because we are seeing all days materials, creativities, communications that we as an agency, as an experts, we wouldn't recommend it to post ever. But we cannot do anything, because the decisions right now are still being approved by that risk committee, and good rebels, even marketing department, cannot say no to them. We only can recommend them not to do something or to do something. Patrick?
Okay, so this is a little bit of a spoiler here. What was our reaction? It was a Sunday morning. I think most of us were working in some other projects, because apparently DIA was like really calm. We didn't have any emails, so we didn't have any news, and normally no news means good news. But then we saw they were posting and replying in social media, and that's something we normally do. And they didn't let us know about it. That's what basically Ivan explained. So this was our reaction. Right before that, we had already sent them an email and our recommendations about what to do at that point with this crisis. And that had to do with these three things. Ivan? That's it. First of all was stopping all of the communications from the content plan, because to be fair, no one really cares about if you prefer the Spanish omelette with or without onion at the moment. Then stopping all paid media campaigns. These had to do with the fact that we wanted to avoid people seeing us or our commercial communications as opportunistic. And then we also told them that they should focus on the real value that them as a supermarket could offer to society, which was quite high, to be honest. But also that they should only communicate it when they could make sure that they were doing their best, or at least trying. So basically, with their posts and their replies, they were doing pretty much the opposite. And that's when Oscar sent them an email, and we basically picked up the phone and told them, let us help you. So from last Monday, everything changed a little bit, and now they listen to us a little bit more. So what we're doing at the moment is we managed to accomplish these two first things that had to do with the first recommendations, and then we added some more things to the list. such as at least now they get our advice, and we are kind of supervising what that committee is preparing and sending. To be fair, they don't always listen to us, but at least they let us know in advance so that we can send our recommendations. And also, this was a very important thing. We put almost all of our efforts on the customer service task. Here we have to say a huge thanks to Itzi, because she's una crack absoluta. We always say that. And well, this was important because of two things. The first thing is that we managed to prepare a list of most frequent asked questions, and then to validate some of the answers. So the day-to-day was a little bit easier for us, but also because, as Ivan said, they're working with Clara Bridge, I think, like monitoring all the conversation, and we're not very sure how they're doing it, but the feeling is that it's not very realistic what they get from it. Also because monitoring DIA as a word, it's pretty complicated. We all may know that. But also I think, even though we're not working with them in a social listening project at the moment, we used to, but we're not anymore. The fact that we are constantly aware of what people are saying about us in social media is really helpful, because we can daily report or tell them what we're feeling, and that's for real. So that's been really useful for them. And then also, in terms of team coordinating process, we did these 3 things. The first one was to unify the conversation in 2 email threads. That may seem silly, but to be fair, it was really important. We only have 2 email threads, one's for customer service and the other one is for content, and it was very helpful. Also, this was really important. We kind of forced them to work together, because the e-commerce team and the marketing team works in separate departments and they don't talk to each other that much. So that made, they created some misunderstoods, and it was quite hard. So we created this morning status, and every morning at 9:45, we basically put all together in a call, so to keep us updated, but also to force them to talk to each other, so everyone knows about everything. And
sorry.
So the learnings, because it's Friday morning and it's been a lot of English, we're giving some gifts to sum up what the learnings were. I don't promise, like, I think Ruger's ones were better than these ones, but we'll try our best. The first thing is that in these situations, we should try to make the client see us as their main support, by giving them advice, but also by giving them solutions. As Ivan said, this has been a huge challenge for us because of the moment we were facing with DIA. It was new client, we were leaving, and it was quite hard, to be fair. But I think the fact that we were able to give them like strong arguments for them to defend in front of the committee helped a lot. So conseguimos que nos hicieran casito, vaya, más o menos. The second learn is that we should always be, Ivan? We should be persistent with our recommendations. We were a little bit pesados, to be fair, but we were pesados especially with those recommendations we truly believed in. So with these, we managed to change a little bit their perspective, and that changed in about 3 days. At the beginning, they were even saying they wanted to go viral and publish 3 times a day, and then we managed to let them know that that wasn't the best option, and that they should be conscious about the real situation that we were facing in social media. The third one is that we should always set up workflows and like try to be as coordinated as possible. I already explained how we did that, but also to force them to keep us constantly updated. And then I put a Taylor Swift gift because I know there's some Swifties out there. Basically, we all need to calm down in these situations. That's quite hard, but Irina, this is something that we had to apply for ourselves, but also for the clients, because they were acting like a little bit crazy, to be fair. And the last one is that always expect the unexpected from DIA. Even though, like, no matter how aware we were from the situation with this client, everything has been pretty tough, at least in the last 2 years I've been in this project. But this may seem like the easiest weeks of the project because we were basically leaving, all the trainings were over, and it was going to be easy. And then this crisis arrived and nothing was easy anymore. So yeah, it was pretty hard, to be fair. And so because this is our last presentation about DIA, I think, as you may know, they're leaving the Good Rebels in next Tuesday, I think. And I'm a little bit nostalgic, so I just wanted to say that we learned a lot from this project until the very end. And also, I would like to say a huge thanks to all of the team, to Oscar, Berta, Paula, Luis, and especially to Ivan, because he let me learn from him since the very beginning. And it's been tough, but it's also been one of the best 2 years of my life, professionally and personally. So thanks a lot.
I'm gonna cry. Thank you, Patri.
Thank you.
Thank you to all the team.
Centennials.
Ok, no, perdonadme, ahora es turno de preguntas.
Perdón, me he colado.
Now it's time for question. I explain all the speakers. And for the moment, only have one question. Is Sara. Aunque...
no, yo veo dos, ¿eh? Una de Mar y una de... no, una de Joel.
Estoy sorprendido. La he eliminado. Sara, ¿para quién es la pregunta? Y así no activo a todos los participantes.
Yeah, my question was for Toyota team.
Toyota, Pablo y María. Un moment.
But yeah, I think there are other questions in the questions and answers.
There are two, I think. There's one from Joel, another one from Mar.
From Mar, yeah.
If you want, you can answer the Joel's one because it's about DIA, and then the Toyota one to change the speakers. So Joel is asking, has DIA increased its ad? Espera, lo voy a copiar en el chat y así lo vemos todos.
La pregunta de Joel parece que la había respondido. Me comenta Joel, ¿vale?
Ok.
Mar ha cancelado la pregunta también, por eso decía que solo hay una.
Vale.
Ok.
Y vale, pues nos vamos.
Pues chao pescado. Bye.
So I have been, like, for the Toyota team, my question was because I have been, on Instagram stories, I have been receiving like a promoted post, but it's by Toyota, the general Toyota, not like Toyota Spain. And how is the communications with them? Like, is it going well? Like, how are you managing to have so many different messages into accounts, kind of reaching to the same target? No estás, no te oigo, Marina.
Ahora ya sí, Marina.
Yeah, Paula, do you want to go with that one? Because you know more about the relationship with your...
Yes, actually with Toyota Japan, that is the one that posted the story you it's about a city of the future.
Yeah.
And they are changing their strategy, and they are like targeting the whole world, and we don't know what they are doing.
So basically, it's a really interesting thing because all communications in Toyota are really well structured, but with social media, every country does their own thing and it's very separate one from another. So there's zero coordination about it. And actually, this would have been a really good opportunity to get like a global strategy. But yeah, unfortunately, or luckily for us, because that gave us a lot of creative freedom. Yeah, it's not really a connection between different ones. So you get confusing messages because you get Toyota España trying to do one thing, and then you get a message from just Toyota, and you don't differentiate it in your mind. So it's quite confusing, but we're trying our best.
Okay.
Global is only like posting about future innovation, or maybe some others with a swipe up to know more about new launches and so on, but they are not posting about product itself. Like it's very local content.
Okay, thanks guys.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to extend a huge thanks to all of you guys, to all the speakers today. I believe it has been one of the longest Rebel Fridays ever, but it has been amazing. Like, special thanks to all the effort and work, knowing that we are in a very hard moment right now. So the fact that you took time to do all of this, like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And in English, great job. So yeah, we're not gonna have Centennials today. I'm so sorry, but it's like 11:24. It's crazy. But we'll move it till next Friday. And since this is a real Rebel Fridays, we have someone today that wants to say goodbye. So Ernesto, this is your time to speak. And after that, we'll say goodbye to everyone.
Ernesto, ready?
Vale. Bueno, hello, my English is not very good, so I prefer to do it on Spanish. Sorry everyone, but it's only a minute. Bueno chicos, todo en esta vida es cambio. Estoy muy agradecido de haber podido estar aquí durante estos meses. He aprendido una burrada, prácticamente casi tanto como he comido. Sobre todo porque he trabajado con unos equipos increíbles, pero sobre todo porque he conocido a personas brutales. Y eso es sobre todo lo que me llevo. Antonio más me dijo que esta empresa solamente contrataba a buenas personas y realmente tenía razón. Sois una gran familia y me ha encantado formar parte de ella. Es una pena tener que despedirme así, pero bueno, debido a esta situación es lo que hay. Pero me comprometo a ir a veros a todos. Llevaré brownie. Y solo eso, cuidaros y que tengáis un buen día y muchas gracias por todo.
Gracias, Ernesto.
A vosotros.
Te tomo la palabra con ese brownie. Creo que Ángel nos ha activado a todos el sonido para que podamos hablar.
Estoy en ello, como somos muchos, voy activando.
Sorry.
Nada, ya hay gente que va pudiendo hablar, ¿vale?
Wow, 55 people are still here.
Ahí está.
Again,
iros activando que queréis hablar.
Lo siento muchísimo por alargarlo tanto. De verdad que todos teníamos instrucciones de hablar 10 minutos, pero obviamente teníamos tanto que contar que ha sido imposible. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone. And next Friday, we'll have our next Rebel Friday first time with an external speaker. So I hope you guys all can be there and be good and listen.
Mucha suerte, Ernesto, allá donde vayas.
Muchas gracias, Juanis. Y bueno, y a todos los del chat, que no le he dicho nada.
Ya podemos hablar todos, ¿no?
Ernesto, un beso muy grande y por supuesto no te pienses que te vas a librar de venir a despedirte físicamente a los Rebels.
Me he puesto nervioso así, imagínate, Maricruz.
Si tengo que fletar yo el AVE, te lo fleto, pero vamos.
No puedes ofrecer un brownie y luego no traerlo.
Eso no se hace y menos en Gutiérrez.
No, yo lo llevo, no os preocupéis.
Queremos ese brownie.
Tráelo, por favor.
Un abrazo grande, Ernesto.
Muchas gracias, Ernesto.
Enorme, mucho ánimo.
Gracias por todo.
Gracias, chicos.
Eugenia, gracias de verdad por empujar.
Bravo.
Desayuno
Bien, válida.
Total, si no teníamos nada mejor que hacer durante 2 horas.
Lo siento de verdad, o sea, tengo que meterme en una colcha.
Ha sido fantástico, Eugenia, fantástico. Hasta yo había retrasado calls que tenía porque estábamos todos aquí pegados diciendo, joder, qué trabajazo, qué fantástico, Eugenia. Y fantástico.
Gracias,
los
lo
equipos.
siento.
No hay palabras.
Gracias, chicos.
Mil gracias, chicos.
Corriendo, un beso y gracias, Ángel, por todo.
Chao.
Chao. Gracias, San Ángel.
Chao.
Chao a todos.
Adiós.
Chao a todos.